You just heard from the governor and state officials. Well, right now you're about to hear from Jackson city leaders. Mayor Chokwe Antara Lumumba is about to speak, but first, I believe we're about to hear from the Pearl River Valley Water Supply District. We're gonna go now to that live press conference.
We plan to hold that flow for the next 12 hours if possible, and therefore we will be allowing the lake to increase in level somewhat. It's already in a scary range, as I said, and it's getting more scary, but we feel like it's prudent to store in the lake at this time opposed to storing it in the floodplain. So hopefully we can achieve that. If we don't, we'll certainly let everyone know, but right now you still need to plan on a 36-foot river. Hopefully it won't get there, but as sure as you don't plan on it, it will. And if we get a lot of rain coming in, that's going to change everything. However, at this point in time, we don't think there's any rain in the next 24 hours.
Chad Archmont with the National Weather Service. Just like what John was saying, I'm not going to repeat all the inflows and things coming to the reservoir, but the key point is, as he alluded to, everything's a little sooner. So the water coming in the reservoir is probably 18 to 24 hours sooner. So when they release all that water, what that's going to do to the river gauge that we use at Highway 80, it's also going to crest a bit sooner. We were talking about Tuesday, but we're looking at Monday into Monday night as the crest. So that's the peak, but as we touched on the last few days, just because it crests on one day doesn't mean there's no impacts on other days around that. We already are having water. The current stage is at Highway 80 is at 34.6 feet. So that's going to be the steady rise until we get the crest, but it's also going to be a slow fall. So it looks like we're going to be in the flood waters that we're seeing even today, probably well into the end of the week, Thursday, Friday, with then a gradual recession after that. So just wanted to reiterate kind of the main point is the sooner arrival of the higher water and the crest. John touched on too the potential for additional rainfall. We're kind of lucky. It's more isolated, scattered type activity that we seen yesterday. So that was less. That was really good. The next few days, there are rain chances out there every afternoon, but it's more isolated and scattered in nature, and that really shouldn't add a lot of water to the area. However, localized, 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches, summer downpours that we may see, but usually that doesn't really impact the whole river and things like that. So main point is the earlier arrival, and the forecast is still going to be 36 feet. And we're just hoping for the best that maybe it could be a little bit different, but that's what we're planning for. So, thank you.
Good morning, and as promised, the coalition is with you early and often, as we said from the beginning. So we're here today to provide additional update with respect to the events that we expect. The river will crest 24 hours earlier than initially projected. I've already received calls from individuals wondering or questioning whether they should get out now. If you are capable of getting out now, get out now. Get out as soon as possible to prevent any incident or challenge with people trying to leave the area all at once, or any concern over whether the river crests sooner than you may anticipate or our projections. These are all projections. We're trying to give you this information to the best of our ability to pinpoint those timelines. The governor has declared a state of emergency for the impacted areas already. Please heed the warnings for evacuations, as I stated a moment ago. JTRAN is still available to assist those residents who are in need of assistance getting out of those projected impacted areas. Entergy will strategically cut off power. If you remain in a flooded area, you likely will not have power. And so this is an additional reason why you should seek alternate arrangements, whether it be a hotel or staying with a family member outside of the flood-prone area, or in the extreme and dire circumstance that you do not have any other place to go. we do have shelters. There's a shelter at the Police Training Academy, which is at 3000 St. Charles Street. Once again, there is a shelter for those that do not have any other recourse and need a place to stay, and that is at 3000 St. Charles Street. Collect all of your important items and place them in a storage bin. Consider if they remain in the house, place them as high as you possibly can. If you can remove certain items from the home, that is ideal. Take pictures now. You want to take pictures so that if there are any insurance claims with respect to damage that you suffer in your home, you have documented evidence of the items that you had and the condition that they were in prior to the events that we are talking about. This is something that I'm not 100% certain that we mentioned in the 2020 flood, but we want to make certain that we mention this to residents now. If you have additional vehicles, of course, if you're evacuating, you're taking the car that you're driving away in, but if you have additional vehicles at your home, please remove those vehicles if they are able to drive. We have talked to New Jerusalem. We want to thank Pastor Pickett, who has offered his church as a place to park those additional vehicles, and that is not a great distance from many of the anticipated impacted areas. And so you can park your vehicle at New Jerusalem Church, which is directly across the street from Precinct 4 Police Precinct. And so we will have eyes on your property, eyes on your vehicles. As has been stated on multiple occasions, JPD, along with the Sheriff's Department, will step up patrols in the areas that are going to be impacted. And so you will have frequent and consistent patrol in the area. It is possible for approximately 100 to 150 homes to be impacted by this year's event. The question was asked yesterday, the approximate number of homes that may be impacted, and the estimate at this time is between 100 and 150. Stay out of flood areas, not only for threat to your life, but threat to the work and effort of volunteers and agencies who are trying to protect the area. Again, even if the water appears shallow, you are not aware of what may be lurking underneath even that shallow or what appears to be shallow water. There may be a manhole cover that has come up because the water has released it, and you can find yourself in a position where you may drown. And there are also other agents that may be in that water that may be threatening to you, and so we want you to stay out of flood areas and impacted areas. I think someone said in one of our previous press conferences, we don't need sightseers. Watch the flooding from your TV camera. Our news media, I'm certain, will do a upstanding job in covering everything that's taking place. We do not need sightseers, and we do not need you to put yourself or those that are helping with rescue efforts in harm's way. Sandbags will continue to be provided at Michael Avalon until 6 p.m. today, and from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow, Sunday. You have to fill the sandbags yourself at this time. For those residents that may be physically incapable of that, we will look to make adjustments and support you. But because of the great need for sandbags and the many residents that are coming, please help us out. We will provide the sandbags, but if you are capable of filling them yourself, help offset the amount of manpower or labor that has to go into filling those sandbags for the multiple residents that are in need. 311 is open for support during evacuations. Please call 311. Do not call 911 for immediate emergencies. We want to make certain that line stays available to those residents, not only in those impacted areas, but across the city who need to call 911 for other emergencies. So call 311 if you're in need of sandbags, if you want to know where water distribution is, if you want to know about JTRAN and its evacuations, any number of things that we have spoken to you about over the last few press conferences, call 311 for that assistance. The city's website will also continue to be updated for tips regarding this event. And lastly, I want to provide you a list of streets that as of today are already impassable. That is Foxborough, Harrow, Riverwood, River Glen, River Cove, and the corner of Yucca at Rollingwood. So those are the streets that are already, as of today, impassable, and the list will only grow. Thank you.
Good morning, Joey Perkins, Hinds County Emergency Management Director. The big thing that we want to stress this morning is to be prepared. Again, if you need to evacuate, gather your belongings, let someone know where you'll be going, and evacuate. I'll talk about Rosemary Road and Moncure Road in the Terry area. There's water in the road there. County Public Works has taken barricades to block that off. So if you can avoid that area, that would be great. The Big Black River in Edwards is still within the banks. Everything's good there. If you're in Byram, the city of Byram, and you need sandbags, they'll be available at Davis Road Park throughout the day. You'll have to fill your own, but they are available. And lastly, if you have received damage from the rain event or flash flooding, or do receive damage in the coming days, we'd like for you to use the self-reporting tool at msema.org. There's a button there, click on it, go to Hinds County, self-report your damage, so we can collect that, and we will follow up with that. That is very important. Again, we're working with all the agencies and entities to coordinate this effort, and we appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Tamika Smith-Jewett, the Executive Director for the Southwest Mississippi Chapter, American Red Cross, and I'm going to give you an update on our activity. Last night we had one person stay overnight in the shelter located at the Jackson Police Academy, and that shelter remains open, and we opened that shelter ahead of time just so that people aren't rushing around at the last minute looking for a place to stay. We did this for the safety of not only the residents, but for our workforce as well, who is working in, the volunteers working in that shelter. So we just heard the mayor mention, get out now, find a place to go in your plans, to activate your plans. So I think that was a really good thing on our part to go ahead and get started. So if anybody needs a place to stay, you can go to that, to the Jackson Police Academy, where friendly volunteers are there to welcome you. I also want to share that we have training going on this afternoon for sheltering volunteers. So if anyone is interested in working in our shelters, because we just don't know what this event may look like, so we're starting to offer sheltering training for other activities that may come up. If you are interested, you can go to our Red Cross office today from 4 to 6. From 4 to 6 at our office in Flowood, located at 9 Riverbend Place in Flowood, and that's from 4 to 6. We're going to also have training going on tomorrow, and that time frame is from 2 to 4 p.m., same location, our Red Cross office in Flowood, 9 Riverbend Place and Flowood. So again, all this information will be on our social media sites. And for people out there who all the time, from my experience, every time there is a disaster, people always say, I want to work in a Red Cross shelter. So this is the perfect time for you now to get that training. Come on out after church or this afternoon if you have time, and get certified to work along with us and and help our communities repair and recover from any sort of disaster. So that's all that I have. And again, just refer to our social media sites if you have more need for details about what the Red Cross is doing in response to this flooding. Thank you.
Good morning, Cleotha Sanders, Deputy Fire Chief, Jackson Fire Department. Again, we just like to, in the mayor's words, appreciate our coalition who has assembled together to support this event for our City of Jackson residents. We want to continue to reiterate some of the safety points that has already been stated. Make sure that if you are do not walk through standing water, do not drive through standing water. In addition to some of those things, that some of our residents who are not going to evacuate during this time when Entergy decides to or has to cut services, we want to make sure that everyone that stays in Jackson is safe. So we want to make sure that if you're going to use a portable generator, make sure that it is at least 10 feet away from any opening, any door opening, any window, so you can be safe. So you want to make sure that you check the batteries in your carbon monoxide alarms, because we don't want any inadvertent deaths. So we ask that you use those generators appropriately. And also we'd like to state that we know that the pressure of rescuing is going to be demanded on our first responders. So we ask one other thing, that you help the Jackson Fire Department and the rest of the responders by, if you're going to be cooking, make sure that you're staying in the kitchen, because we don't want any accidental fires. So if you can help us out on that end during this time, making sure that your smoke alarms are working, making sure that if you're going to be in the kitchen cooking, that you are monitoring those efforts during that time. Because like I say, our efforts is always about life safety. And while we are preparing for this flood, we just don't want any inadvertent fires or accidental fires. So we ask that you help us out in that aspect to help keep our citizens and everyone safe. Last thing, I wanted to give a shout out to our firefighters and our recruits. Our recruits, they have been assisting with sandbagging, and our firefighters have been assisting with water distribution. So we just ask that you all, when you see a firefighter, just thank them for their service, because they have, even during this time, went above and beyond to assist our City of Jackson residents during this time. So we thank you.
Good morning. Joseph Wade, Assistant Chief of Police. First of all, I want to commend the hardworking men and women of the Jackson Police Department. They are our heroes and our sheroes. They have a very thankless and a very selfless job. I want to thank them for the work that they've done thus far during this event, okay? Also, as we move to our disaster preparedness phase, I've talked to the staff. Now, we prepare all the time for these type of situations. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So, with that being said, as we prepare, we ask that you prepare. You prepare. Help us help you. Help us assist you. Help us mitigate this situation. Now is the time. Prepare for the worst and pray and hope for the best. I would like to say we're very proud to be working with the Red Cross. We've offered our police training academy as a shelter. We'll be there to receive you. You will be safe. We'll make sure you're well protected there, and want to thank you and pray for your vigilance. We are Jackson strong, and we will get past this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Tyree Jones, Hinds County Sheriff. Of course, we've already heard about the status of the Rosemary Road area as it relates to the county part, and how it will be affected or has been affected as well. There has been an evacuation from that area as well, from my understanding. So of course, Hinds County Sheriff's Office will be conducting patrols in that area. I'm not exactly sure if there will be any mandatory power outages in that area right now as well, but we are continuing to monitor that area as well as other areas surrounding that grid as well. Another thing that's very important is we are still working collectively with the Jackson Police Department as it relates to patrols in the Northeast Jackson area. We have the men and women of the Hinds County Sheriff's Office that will be conducting patrols in that specific area on a round-the-clock basis starting this afternoon throughout the tenure of this event as well. One thing that the citizens should know, if it's a non-emergency and you need the Hinds County Sheriff's Office, pick up the phone, dial 601-352-1521. That's the number to our communications division for a non-emergency situation. Another thing that's very important that we need to speak about as well are people that will be evacuating with pets. That is something that we need to address. Find the best way that you can to secure your pets, find the best place for your pets. Of course, you don't want to leave your pets behind when you evacuate your residence. Make sure that your pets are safe and make sure it doesn't be a situation where the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, or the Hinds County EOC have to go in and rescue pets, and we don't know exactly who these pets belong to as well. Again, I'd like to thank the men and women of the Hinds County Sheriff's Office and everybody else that's working collectively to make sure that we are properly addressing this event and doing everything that we can to make the citizens feel safe and their properties feel safe as well. Thank you.
Good morning. Eric Green, the Superintendent of Jackson Public Schools. Just want to again echo the thanks for the mayor, the city officials, our county officials, all of those who are working together, and of course our partners and all those who just love Jacksonians, working together to try to understand the situation and to anticipate thoughtfully the implications of the flood event and to plan as effectively as possible. Very briefly, for our part, with Jackson Public Schools, given the timeline, the updated timeline that we've come to understand, we will be making announcements likely by the end of this evening for our parents and staff members, of course, of those in schools that are likely to be impacted by the flood. We know by previous experiences and certainly in other times that the soonest that we can get information out to families, the sooner you can plan for any changes to our schedules and that sort of thing. And of course, for all of the team members with Jackson Public Schools, we just want to do our very best to make smart decisions and to keep folks safe while also ensuring that all of the services that we provide through the school system, not the least of which the education of our young people, but also feeding and other aspects of our programming that our scholars and families have access to that as much as possible. So to our families, we will be looking to get additional and updated information with regard to Monday and Tuesday out to those affected families, and we will go from there. And we are in constant communication with the city, with city officials, with the police department, and using the modeling and the updated information to ensure that our plans are in lockstep and aligned with the best and the most accurate information. So just appreciate all of the patience that folks have had with us, and look forward to all of us getting through these times together.
Thank you. I have a few additional announcements to make related to the water concerns in certain parts of the city and just south of our city. So with respect to Byram, repairs were made and the pressure is being restored to those residents that have been suffering from low or no water pressure. South Jackson residents that are on the well system should be seeing relief soon, and the South Jackson residents on the surface system should be seeing gains. Coming out of the water treatment facility, there has been consistent water pressure coming out of the water treatment facility, so they are continuing to monitor where there may be breaks or valves potentially closed, maybe due to electrical challenges or many other circumstances, and so you should be seeing gains soon. Crews are still out checking lines and valves. For South Jackson residents who remain without potable and non-potable water, I want to make it clear that the fire stations in your area have been instructed to help you to offer non-potable water for you. You do have to bring containers in order to house that non-potable water, and we ask that you do so or make arrangements for even neighbors or friends that may be unable to make that trip. As I instructed or advised yesterday, our constituent service division and our fire department, who have been helping over the last couple of weeks with the distribution of water, have now had to prioritize the distribution of sandbags. And so we ask that you support your neighbors. We are also providing water pallets to each council person, and there will be distribution in your area coordinated by your council representation. Last thing I wanted to say with respect to water is that while the issue of turbidity was solved within 24 hours at the water treatment facility, we have been unable as of late to test in the 120 locations that are necessary in order to lift the boil water notice because of consistent rain. And so if we have that consistent time where we don't have rain, then we will be able to resume sampling and prayerfully lift the boil water notice. With that, I will open up for questions, but I do want to say once again that we're very grateful for this coalition, which ranges from city departments, our school district, to the county and the state. They have been available. They have been, on the money with support for all of our residents. When we potentially see the worst, that is when they are at their best, and so we're grateful for them. Yes?
I don't think we'll get there at this point, but is there a water stage or river stage that would endanger the water treatment facility at some point? I know we're going to 36, but would that be at 37 or 38 or 39, or do we know?
What I can share with you is that in the 2020 event, there was no threat to the water treatment facility at that time. I think that, as we go into modeling, the higher you go, there's the potential threat to anything. The city in its entirety, for example, if we get to a certain stage. But as a reference point, I can just say that in 2020, there was any threat registered to the water treatment facility at that time. And as it stands today, the modeling, while a significant risk, and I want to make sure that I articulate that to our community, is not anticipated to be higher than the 2020 event. Yeah. All right.
Can we talk about the shelter and what's available there? What do people need? How do they plan? What do they need to plan to do if you can step to the mic?
Anyone that enters a shelter, we do ask that you bring some items with you to make your stay there comfortable. So maybe if you need extra snacks, even though we'll have things like that, but just things that to your liking, to bring those items with you. Maybe extra pillows if it's your favorite pillow. So lots of times we have little games for children. Just things to make your stay there comfortable. We recommend maybe at least 2 to 3 days or however long do you think that you'll need to be away from home. But there's usually light snacks. We do have feeding that goes on there as well at the shelters. And we do have a lot of volunteers that do different levels as far as just special needs that people may need in our shelters. And so that's one of the reasons we are asking people to volunteer with us if those needs arises. It may be special medications that people have. We do have people that can go in and listen and work with our health services to make sure people have the items that they need as well. So just, whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable for a while you're there.
I do want to repeat the advice of providing or maintaining critical documents that you may have, insurance cards, things that you may need while you're away from your home. If you have health concerns, all of those important documents that could potentially be threatened in the event of flood waters coming into your home. We want you to have those securely with you and available for your needs.